Good afternoon everyone, welcome back to the channel. So as you can see from the thumb, we're going to be doing Why Does Maynard Need 3 Bands? Little Tool special extra. It's an interview, so let's crack on to it. I don't really need the headphones, but I'll use them anyway. Let's do it.
Tell me what, if you were going to listen to something today, when you're out walking around the vineyard, and you want to put on something that's inspiring, what would you put on? What would you listen to?
Well, I'll show you the photo. In the winery, when fruit comes in, I have a soundtrack.
Okay.
So I pick, and it might be historical work. Whenever we're picking the Judas Nebbiolo, I have Blonde Redhead and Ahmad Jamal playing. That's 100% what's going to happen with that fruit when it comes in. That's the soundtrack for that day.
Okay.
There's other things that are going to come in that are straight up Devo. There's going to be things that are going to be Tejano's radio on Pandora.
I see, right? Eclectic all over.
Historically, I'll pick the same soundtrack for that wine, so when we actually present the tasting notes, what we played when that came in, when it was first picked and processed, that's on the tasting notes. But in the cellar, if I'm actually trying to make these decisions, it can't be Metallica.
Okay.
It can't be Slayer. I'll listen to that when I'm doing cleanup, or if it's like the in-between times, and I just like the metal's going while I'm doing a thing, that's fine. But when I'm actually having to think, it's stuff more like Swans and Low and Tones on Tail and PJ Harvey, Julian Welsh is a big one on the list. So that's I can think in that space, and there's a little bit of slight sadness to it. So you're also in a melancholy state of mind while you're making these decisions. That's just natural for me.
Would you say that that's your natural space as a songwriter, is the melancholy?
Yeah.
Because your melodies, I always get that from it, and that's why I enjoy your music so much.
You have all your early influences and things that pop up that you listen to as a child.
Yeah.
But the two albums that I can remember most going, this, in hindsight, 2020 hindsight, going, these albums changed the way that I thought of music. And it was Black Sabbath first album,
right, and
Joni Mitchell Blue.
Oh, right.
So those are the
Very
ones
good.
that kind of like guided what my musical taste. Like, I've listened to a million things over the years, all of it. But those were the ones that I kind of cut my teeth on with understanding.
You got to listen to something, you got to try it.
That, I came late to Led Zeppelin. I came late to a
Me
lot
too,
of those
yeah.
other bands.
Me
But
too.
those are the ones that I remember on Saturday morning over at my aunt's house. My grandfather was the chief of police, constantly in her car, an old Ford Falcon, vacuuming up the pot seeds out of her back seat because
So
he's the chief of
specific
police
memory.
and he can't have his daughter driving around with pot in her car. She's the one going, you got to check this out. Got to check out Black Sabbath.
Those two records really hold up and are as good. To me, both those records always have remained the same.
Yeah.
They just instantly do. It's the same thing for you, right? They just bring back that.
For sure, yeah. And over the years, I've had various vehicles that I drive. I've got my truck or my FJ, or I have a smart car in LA because it's easier to park. Parking in LA, Jesus Christ. But I have soundtracks that go with each one, and one of them is Kraftwerk Electric Cafe.
Oh yeah.
On loop. Or in the truck, it's Black Sabbath.
Okay.
So your range of the things that you would like that's really why you have three different bands.
Probably. I guess, again, it's also logistics of timing. Like the guys in Tool, they just take longer to process information and get it together and then present me something that I can start building on. I've made the mistake in the past of trying to build on something that wasn't ready yet.
Yeah.
And then all the work I put into building on the thing, they changed the foundation. So if I'm trying to decorate the house and then you move where the doors are and move the windows or add a floor, I got to start over.
Right,
as an interior decorator.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
I get it.
So I have to wait for them to do it. So there's time. I have time to do all these
A good
things
analogy.
in between because
I liked
I
it.
can and I should.
The first two Tool records, I think, are 3 years apart, and then there's a 5-year gap or so, and then there's another 5-year gap. That was actually really unusual during that time period for artists to take that long between albums.
Yeah, I guess.
But you make the music when it's ready. You put it out when it's ready, right?
One could argue a little bit of discipline and a little prodding, a little cattle prod or a taser would help move those guys along a little faster, but that's their process. You just have to kind of respect it. It's frustrating. I'm sure they're frustrated with me because they hand it to me and I'm like, it's done. Like, you didn't take any time with it? Yes, I took 50 years.
Right.
For this reaction to these things. I've been preparing for decades to hear these things and be able to react honestly.
Yeah,
and I
that's
riff
very
on
good,
them.
very interesting.
On all the projects, I riff on the thing. I go back, I try to beat the riff. I try to beat the riff again. I actually record words to some stuff and try to beat it. And I usually come back to the first or second stream of consciousness take because that's the jazz part of it. Your first reaction probably was the correct reaction because it's partly conscious but mostly unconscious reaction to the rhythms, having not reacted at all by listening to it for a week or two driving around in the car.
Do you ever save your old work tapes or your work?
Oh God, no.
You destroy them?
I have.
No, I don't
We've got
destroy them.
from the band.
If I even have them somewhere, I don't know, but
I've got them.
probably not.
Tapes,
but-
cassettes.
I don't want to regret not going with that one.
Right. You don't
Yeah.
want to.
This is
you don't
the
wanna think
decision we
about it
made.
again.
We go this way.
Because that's how we wrote our
Do you
songs in
ever
the
go
band.
back and listen to any of your
Songs were actually written.
records?
I
Or
wrote the
once they're
lyrics
done,
after.
That's it.
Well, I mean, it'll come up and I'll listen to them sometimes, especially like when we're going to go back on a tour. Like if we go back out with Perfect Circle, there's going to be I'm going to try to do songs we haven't done.
Yeah.
So I have to go back and listen to that song
you
and
said.
remember not the recording, but what it became while we were doing it live. Because you fixed it. Whatever the nuances were that didn't get caught in the recording,
Yeah.
you fixed it. Now I got to remember listening to the original recording what that was before we go and dust those off.
I did a breakdown of Weak and Powerless on my YouTube channel, and I went back and listened to it yesterday, and that is one of my all-time favorite songs. But that and The Noose, which follows
Noose,
it,
yeah,
is such a great.
I've done that on
those
the
two
channel.
songs back to back are so amazing. It's really beautiful and so different from each other. And they both have sadness that I love about music, and it's the note choices that you make though that really use what I call haunting tones. It's just the way that you hear these things, or do you experiment and look for those spots to go to these particular notes?
Well, again, that's stealing professional steel, right? And so really looking at the work of people like P.G. Harvey, Trent on The Fragile. He's stealing shit all over that album, but I'm stealing from his stolen goods. I think space was the thing that really I wanted to hear more space in some of the Perfect Circle stuff.
Yeah.
So going back to my original influences of the Swans, early Holy Money and Greed albums,
Don't know that either.
the huge cavern of space that are in those albums, simple rhythms, just primal in their approach.
Interesting.
I wanted to see more of that in when you think of Perfect Circle and Swans. They're not the same thing.
Right,
But
okay.
logistically, if you look at the waveforms on paper, on a screen of those songs, you see the space in the Noose that might match the space on the screen of a Swan song. And that was the point of like leaving space to let your brain is just going in the middle of the spaces.
Yeah, okay.
And Josh is a great drummer, but I remember on the Noose going, stop playing right there.
Right.
Don't play through. Stop. And he's like, oh. Because he already has done that in other things, but like you have to remind him, you've already done something like this. Now do that, do that again. Leave space. And it really sells the atmosphere of the track.
Yeah, agree.
As
yeah.
contrasting to
Just a little bit of
Weak and
drums is
Powerless,
fine, a
which
little
is
bit
like
of
on a
accent.
metronome, just right through your head. Yeah. Again, stolen from Trent.
We won't tell them.
No, tell them.
You
Don't watch this, Trent.
You
Don't
you
watch
do
this.
leave space in your melodies too, which is amazing. You're not afraid to leave space. I think a lot of contemporary music that I hear, there's no space at all. Every lyric, there, you go verse and well, there's no pre-choruses to songs anymore than chorus, and there's no bridges anymore to songs.
Right.
Everything is just jam-packed together,
I suppose so, yeah.
and
yeah.
people are afraid to leave.
Yeah,
To let the,
I'll
to
get
let the
that.
music
I would
breathe.
agree with that.
How important is that?
It's crucial.
I would agree.
100% crucial to me. It's what makes the song. You know,
Sorry to pause. That doesn't make it onto the radio, though, tracks like that, does it? Because it's not playable on the radio. It's not commercial for the radio because they're too long, or there's no interest in the gaps. People don't want to sit like that and listen to stuff like that on the radio. That's why Tool didn't make it on the radio, and other bands like that. Is my opinion, my humble opinion. Sorry, here we go.
joy and sadness.
I'll go back a little bit. I'll go
You
back
have
a
to
little
have the
bit. Bear with me. Bear with me.
It's what makes the song. You know, joy and sadness. You have to have the balance of both of them. So noise and silence
Yeah.
are critical as far as
It's
contrast.
true.
Anybody who's gone through a first year of, formal art training at a university or college, that's one of the first things you learn.
I
in
live with people that did.
perspective and just drawing in general is the contrast of light and dark. So that has to, for a song to
That's why
be
we talk about light and dark in all the tracks.
effective, I think it has to have all of those things.
It does.
And you're
You're
right. The current, everything's a commercial now. It's a TikTok video, and it's got to jam all this shit into a tight space and just get up in your business immediately without any kind of digestion or room for thought. So early Pink Floyd will hang on a note for like,
Yeah. Yeah.
where are they going with this?
Right.
Yeah, low, like just vast amounts of space, and the vocals, just the lines lingering. Old psychedelic furs, like Butler's
Yeah.
single note vocal that's got the grit, and it's just grits, and it's monotone, and it's there, and then it disappears, and then the grit comes back
Well, that's
in.
what he does. That.
It
That's what he
becomes
does. That's why it works.
texture rather than a vocal.
It's a steal, as he says.
Do you think that people have lost the ability to experience music like that because of things like TikTok?
I'm 58. I don't care. It'll come back around.
58,
Things
he
do
looks
come back
well.
around.
Yeah.
People start to appreciate those things, and maybe something good will come out of those weird soundbite, narcissistic rabbit holes. I don't know. I'm the old dude. It's like back in my day, our music had space.
Yeah, very good. I'm not sure what age you get to where you start actually all being credible to say things like that. I remember back in my day, I don't know what age that is when you get to it. Because I'm 46, I think I've hit that age already when I can say back in my day. I agree with a lot of things you said, very good, really interesting, and I hope you enjoyed that. I think it's fairly new, that. Yeah, it was released 4 days ago, and the channel says Rick Beto 2, so why don't you give him a sub, because that was very good, really enjoyed that. Good interview, I think Maynard gave good answers. I don't think he was too upset and gave stupid answers, which I know he does in some interviews. He doesn't like the interviewer, but really enjoyed that, very good. I'm not sure we really answered why does Maynard need 3 bands, but it was just good to hear him talking and getting some good questions asked of him. And I'm sure that must be his environment, is it? Is that his place? You'll let me know in the comments. But he's looking well, looking very well, and hopefully we'll hear more from all the bands that he's in, all 3 of them that he's in. The fact that they're saying 3 would suggest that they're all still current, so hopefully we'll hear more from all of them very soon. And I will be doing more recording from all 3 of them very soon as well, so why don't you hit the like, hit the subscribe, and I'll see you back for some more videos.